You know that I love Fifine microphones in general. And yes, it is pronounced Fifine. That's the official pronunciation they sent me. One notable trait about most Fifine microphones is that they sound great straight out of microphone. But they've always had this one limitation. This is just 16-bit. It is 16-bit. You've probably heard me say this in every Fifine review that I've done to date. 16-bit. It's got a 16-bit bit depth. 16-bit. But those days are over. This is the Fifine Profile 3. It doesn't say it in the box, but I do know that this is finally a 24-bit microphone, which basically means you'll have more flexibility when editing your audio in post. The question is the Fifine Profile 3 good enough for professional recording? There's only one way to find out. Let the unboxing begin. By the way, Fifine did send me the Profile 3, but everything I say in this video are my thoughts only. Let's see what's in the box. We have a user guide. Some cool specs here. It's got a signal-to-noise ratio of 77 dB, which in my experience is pro level. Your voice would sound loud enough while having less preamp noise. And the actual mic. Ooh, oh. That is rock solid, says Amplitank on top. This is arguably the most professional Fifine microphone that I have ever seen. I love how sleek and black it is. No RGB at all. Massive branding here, but you know, at this point, they've earned it. It kinda swings back and forth a bit. And the mic weighs 824 grams. That is heavy. That's SM7B territory. Just as a frame of reference, the Fifine K688 weighs 519 grams, and the SM7B weighs 839 grams. So it's just 16 grams lighter than the Shure SM7B. So this is Fifine's heaviest microphone to date. Of course, that does count a stand. It's a very sturdy stand. 172 grams, so the mic on its own would still be pretty heavy. I should mention that it comes with a Type A to Type C USB-C cable with no adapters. So for our purposes, I'm going to use a separate Type C to Type C cable so it can connect directly into my MacBook Air. Let's try it out. Hello, oh my goodness. Can you, what? Hello. Hi, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. That sound coming from this USB condenser mic. Now, earlier, you might have heard that the Earthworks Ethos practically had no background noise. That's because my audio interface has a noise canceling plugin. So don't think that this mic doesn't have any white noise or preamp noise, because this one didn't appear to have it. That was noise canceling. But looking at the features here, you have a mute button right there. I love it because it is a gradual mute button that is very dampened. This big knob right here is what you call your monitor mix knob. But Fifine called this their microphone computer balance knob, which is the same thing. Basically, when you talk into this mic, you can hear yourself. I have a pair of headphones plugged in, and I hear myself live. And what this does is the more I turn it to the left, the more I hear the microphone and hear myself, but I hear less of the sounds coming from the computer. But the more we turn it to the right, I'm gonna hear myself less, and if you're on Discord, you're gonna hear the people you're chatting to more, or you're gonna hear more of a video game sounds. This is, of course, the Type-C jack. This switch here, you hear me talking right now without flicking the switch. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Now let's flick that switch on. And this is how I'm going to sound. This is what you call a 150 Hz high-pass filter. This is great for reducing low noise rumble. Say me tapping on the desk. Don't hear it that much. But when I turn it off, you hear more of that tapping. Now the tapping is gone. It's also great for removing low rumble from trains passing through, your fridge, basically anything that makes a low sound. I love that when you flick that switch on and off, you don't really hear a piercing clicking sound, which is quite common for condenser mics with switches. That clicking sensation even happens on the Neumann U87's switches. It's not completely absent. Let's play around with that switch, toggling on and off. I wouldn't play with that too much. There's a very tiny click, almost like a mouth click at worst, but it doesn't pop in your ears. And of course you have a microphone gain knob to control your microphone gain, like so, dropping it, dropping it, dropping it. And you have a headphone gain knob to control your overall headphone volume. Now, what I just found out is that the Fifine Amplitank Profile 3 isn't just 24-bit, but it also has a sampling rate of 192 kilohertz, giving it the specs of an audio interface on paper. So let's do some tests. And just a quick speech test, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Let me turn on the high pass filter. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Plosive test. Pesky peas perpetuate problematic plosives. A bit further back. Pesky peas perpetuate problematic plosives. Pesky peas perpetuate problematic plosives. Now with the high pass filter turned on, pesky peas perpetuate problematic plosives. Pesky peas perpetuate problematic plosives. Pesky peas perpetuate problematic plosives. Sibilance test. Smart citizens subscribe to Dave's Soltura. So if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button down below. Now with the high pass filter turned on, smart citizens subscribe to Dave's Soltura. High pass turned off, distance test with a constant voice. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Distance test with me raising my voice as I move back. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Distance test where I raise the gain as I move back. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Shaver test. Let's do a polar pattern test with my voice. I am talking as I turn this around. Talking, and this is how I sound from behind. Talking, I am talking. Let's do some noise rejection tests. Keyboard test with the keyboard in front of the mic. Turning the high pass filter on. Keyboard behind the mic. High pass filter on. Resonance test on the table. High pass filter on. Cool thing I just discovered, the yoke mount has both a 3/8 inch thread and a 5/8 inch thread. Right there you can see a hole within the hole, which means you can mount this onto one of these cheap mic arms without an adapter. High pass filter turned on. This is how it sounds in vocals. How it sounds in vocals. High pass turned on. This is how it sounds in vocals. How it sounds in vocals. This is how it sounds with a low voice. And this is how it sounds with a medium voice. And this is how it sounds with a high voice. Now with the high pass filter engaged, this is how it sounds with a low voice. And this is how it sounds with a medium voice. And this is how it sounds with a high voice. Now, I really like what I'm hearing so far, and the Fifine Profile 3 has the makings of a mic that could replace your XLR microphone. Now, to test that, let's compare the Fifine Profile 3 with the Arturia CM1, powered by an Arturia Minifuse 2 audio interface, as well as the SE Electronics Neom, which many reviewers have considered XLR quality in a USB package. Let me turn off all the fans again so you can hear the preamp noise. You're hearing me speak into the Fifine Profile 3. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Now we are on the SE Electronics Neom. All the fans are turned off, and this is how that sounds. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. And now we are back on the Fifine Profile 3, just as a palate cleanser. This is how that sounds. Now again, with all the fans off, it is getting hot in here. You are hearing me speak into the Arturia CM1 plugged into the Arturia Mini Fuse 2 audio interface, and this is how that sounds. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. And again, we are back on the Fifine Profile 3, and this is how that sounds. Alright, let's talk about the pros and cons. First, the cons. Con 1, the included USB-C cable only includes Type-C to Type-A without an adapter. Not a deal breaker, just kinda sad because most of these mics do come with adapters nowadays. Con 2, it can sound unclear if you are not using the high-pass filter. Though for the average consumer who listens to this, they might just think, whoa, that sounds big and full. But if the clarity does become a concern, simply use the high-pass filter. Con 3, the mic isn't that sensitive. What I mean is, I'm on maximum gain right now, and I would expect that at this distance that the mic would pick up my voice more fully, but at this distance I would need to raise my volume to get some decent levels. So to get louder volume and quieter noise, I would recommend getting closer to the mic for spoken word. Now if it's singing, you can probably sing from this distance. Con 4, it will capture background noise. That is to be expected of all condenser microphones. You capture more nuance and detail from your voice, but also way more noise from the background. Now for the pros. Pro 1, it has a robust build quality, which also looks great on camera. Pro 2, it has audio interface level specs for analog to digital conversion. I've always begged Fifine to create a 24-bit microphone, but they did that and over-delivered. They also raised their base sample rate from 48 kHz to 192 kHz, which is 4 times as much. Now for indie recording artists, that's not really a big deal, but if you work with professional clients, some of them may ask for those higher specs. I work with some of those clients, so having those specs does give me the confidence that I can use this for pro work. Pro 3, it has a 77 dB signal-to-noise ratio, and me personally, for content creation, my bare minimum is 70 dB. You're gonna hear a bit of hiss there, but with 77 dB, you're now gonna hear so much more of your voice and far less the preamp noise coming from the mic, which to me is one of the most important specs in a USB mic. Pro 4, it has an analog high-pass filter. That means you don't need third-party software and you don't need firmware updates just to toggle that very useful high-pass filter. Now 150 Hz is an excellent choice for a high-pass filter setting because it keeps just enough of your voice to still have some warmth, but eliminates a lot of the problems at lower frequencies. Did you know that the Shure SM7B also has a high-pass filter, but it filters starting at 300 Hz, which means it'll remove most of the warmth of your voice. It's a little overboard. So 150 Hz for the Profile 3 is a nice sweet spot. Con 5, the switches are dampened. You might get clicks once in a while, but I press the mute button, the high-pass filter, you don't get sudden spikes. Pro 6, it has a monitor mix knob. I could be wrong, but this seems to be a first for Fifine microphones as well, because normally you can just control your headphone volume overall, or sometimes the only way to control the headphone volume is with the mic volume. But with the Profile 3, you get granular control over what you listen to, how much of your voice you can hear, versus how much of your computer's sounds you can hear. Sometimes you just want to hear more of yourself and less of the video game, or maybe the other way around. This is one of those features you only find in audio interfaces. It is a very advanced feature. Pro 7, it has a studio-ready frequency response, 70 Hz to 20 kHz. Personally, I find that to be the perfect range for a studio microphone, because everything below 70 Hz is practically low noise rumble. A lot of condenser microphones start at 20 Hz, so they pick up a lot of bass noise. But with 70 on the lower end, you are getting enough bass and warmth and removing a lot of the unnecessary low end. And I love how it goes all the way up to 20 kHz, because mics like the Fifine K688 and AM8 only go up to 16 16, 15 kilohertz, which could mean losing a bit of that brightness and air in your voice. So going all the way up to 20 is great for singers and recording artists who value detail. So who would I recommend the Fifine Profile 3 for? If you are primarily a gamer or streamer, this might not be my first recommendation because this will require better soundproofing, better sound treatment of your room. But if you're getting into professional recording, be it as a voice actor or singer, this is a great entry-level USB microphone that's really good enough for pro use. I'm not saying that this is going to replace a Neumann U87 with 4-digit preamps. The Fifine Profile 3 has comparable quality to an entry-level microphone paired with an entry-level audio interface. So this could be your first good enough for work mic. At the same time, I could also recommend this as a travel microphone. When I bought this full kit with me to Taiwan, it was beginning to break my back. This is going to be slightly lighter and occupy less space. Overall, I would say that this is Fifine's truly best microphone to date. For the price, you are getting budget XLR quality and audio interface level specs. It has no real glaring flaws, and if I could give it a score, I'd give it a 9.5, maybe a 9.7 out of 10. In terms of value, now that 0.5, 0.3 I shaved off, now I'm just nitpicking here, but if they could improve the signal to noise ratio to maybe 80 dB, then this would be a perfect mic. And while it isn't, it is very close to that, at least for my use case. Fine, we just asked for 24-bit, but you went overboard this time. What did you think of the Fifine Profile 3? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And I just want to thank these incredible people. Thank you. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, I'd really appreciate it if you did because every subscriber counts. And if you like this video, make sure to check out this one.